Okay, so this is an iris painting I did for a friend, Jessie, high school friend. And I asked her what she liked. And her response was, I love irises and pineapple. Of course, that sets my brain going in all kind of different directions, but then this is kind of what I came up. Now, I'm going to make a video of the process. It's going to look different from this. It's just going to be the straight iris. This one, you can see the drawing in this bottom half of a sketch. So here's the iris and then doing the pineapple. Now, I've never done a pineapple, so I should have done it the opposite way because it just makes, if I mess up the pineapple, then I did the iris all in vain. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to do these little water drops on this. So it's going to be close. Now this is kind of rough, and I would, for my junior high, I would just block everything in and just kind of show them that. For my advanced students, I would probably add in some of the water drops and do a little bit of shading. Here's a close-up of the starting of the leaf part of the pineapple. And it's kind of a little bit of a close-up here on the shading. Now this is a blown up version, so it's like magnified several times. Again, you can see so this is I guess a very loose drawing of a pineapple, but it's one of those paintings where if you back up, it looks right. This close up, it looks kind of funky. But there's a close up of the pineapple. And of course, because she said she loved pineapples, I made it into a heart-shaped pineapple and included the whole thing. And I just kind of wanted to emphasize the whole thing here. Now, I always do things for a reason. And of course, I'm a natural history guy, so this is all part of my my core on lectures to my students and give a little history to everything. Now, this iris, I think it's called the Viceroy. It is the flower that brought down a country. All the Dutch people invested everything they had in this one flower, sold their houses, just took everything they had in the bank just to get this one flower. And it's kind of a lesson that some people never learn. Eventually, it was like the emperor's new clothes, and somebody realized that it's just a flower. That people were spending their entire life savings on a flower, and the price just dropped, and it put the country in collapse. Anyway, so that was part of the other part of this. Now, the prices they paid were equivalent to a skilled worker for a whole year or more. Yes, it's just what humans do. Anyway, so I'm going to do kind of the flower. I'm going to add the water drops and show the techniques. Now, this is the first time I'm going to use that hyperspeed because it's going to take a while, and I just don't want people to just keep looking at step by step. I will probably do a couple of slowed down versions and add them in between. So this is the paper I use. I use a different type paper, but mainly this one works really great, 140 weight. Anyway, so 100% cotton. Now, I just want to elaborate a little bit more on that tulip mania. And it happened from like about 1634 to 1637. Now, the price of this flower range anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 florins. Now you have to understand a skilled worker, and I'm sure there's different ranges on that, but made like 300 florins a year. So pretty much equivalent to anywhere from 10 to 14 times a worker's salary, which is kind of reminiscent of a time in the late 80s where the housing market took the same direction. So anyway, I'm going to show you kind of what I'm doing, and then the next time I'm going to be doing it in hyperspeed. So I just kind of did pretty much basic outline. Now this is, I'm using a watercolor pencil, so it won't show up as I'm doing this. It'll just slowly disappear. Okay, from this point right here, I'm just going to block in a few things. I'm kind of using mainly a Payne's gray and a alizarin crimson and a cadmium red deep. Those are pretty much the colors, and it's just done in layers. Now after I block it in, and I'm just going to block in a few things, and then I'm going to go to that hyperspeed. So now I'm just laying in the shadows right now. Now I am working a little faster than I would normally, but just for time's sake. Just going to pull some of these colors out, go over them, blend them out, and just keep adding and subtracting as I go on. And like I said, I mean, the pencil, some of these lines are in a watercolor pencil, so if I keep going over it, they'll just disappear. And you can see I'm just kind of being somewhat free, because there's going to be multiple layers, and all this will change. And as soon as I bring in some of that red, I'm going to probably stop. Now you have to remember that this is going to be darkened and lightened here and there, and so this is just the first pretty much layer in here. Now this is kind of what I'd be showing my 7th grade and 8th grade students at this point in time. Now I will take it further, but I will get them to this point and then turn them loose and explain to them how to take it a little further. And my advanced students, I would show them how it would go further because they're capable of doing some of that stuff. So, and like I said, this will all change And some of this bleeding in will actually help with the effect. And like I said, I'm not going to I'm letting some of the white come through because there is white little streaks in here that show up. And again, I'm using my 20 coffee technique, so my hand is like jittery. Not that I've had 20 cups of coffee, but that kind of jagged technique that I use works really well for some of this, so it doesn't get too stiff. And I'll show those water drops, which I would show my 8th graders probably. Now, as soon as I block in these last two, then I'll stop and go to the fast speed. And I'm using this large brush because this is just the blocking in part. And I'll stop right there.